You two can leave if you have nothing else on.
You can leave, go.
5, discussion possible action regarding communicating information to the public. Thomas/Wilson.
Yeah, Greg has been very interested in coming up with, I hope I say this right, coming up with ways to better communicate to the public on various issues, and he may want to broaden this to further things. I specifically want to ask Paul, as our attorney, now that we've are going forward with a GO bond, what specifically are we allowed as a board and as individuals that are more board directors to say to the public in connection with this upcoming election in May?
Okay. Whenever you have an item that's on the ballot, you have to be careful on how you communicate what your opinion is. So, for example, you cannot use any kind of public funds whatsoever to encourage or discourage a proposition on the ballot. So whether you're for or against, there can't be any kind of public funds, tax dollars whatsoever used. Can't put it in a newsletter, can't use it marquee, that sort of thing. Of course, what you can do is let them know that there is an item on the ballot and encourage them to vote. But as far as one way or the other, you can't use any kind of public funds or tax dollars to.
If we present facts, and we present both sides of the facts, and I'm thinking now about what are the advantages and disadvantages of revenue bonds, what are the advantages and disadvantages of tax-based bonds, can you do that sort of thing?
Not with public funds, you can't.
You can't give facts?
Well, when you're doing that, you're on a fine line. That you may be attempting to present those facts in a way that is either for or against.
You could state what the bond is paying for, and like a water line, and that pretty much you can't do a comparison.
But I wouldn't do a pros and cons.
And I wouldn't get on Facebook.
No.
I don't think, well, first of all, you have to separate what you can do as a MUD and what you can do as an individual under freedom of speech.
Okay, now, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, regarding freedom of speech, absolutely, as an individual, you can express your opinion. You can say whether you're for or against, no problem. I would make sure that you make it clear that you're speaking as an individual, that you're not speaking for the board, you're not speaking as a board member, but are you open to express your individual opinion and be, whether it's for or against? Yes.
Do you mind, could you, again, with the approval of the board, write a statement if someone wants to do that, just so they're protected and they can do that statement disclaimer? Is that possible?
Oh, kind of like at the bottom?
Or at the top, or in the middle? Or
where it says how that you're doing this as an individual?
Right.
I can put some language together that
Does anyone have any problem with that?
you could use, yes.
Bill?
I think that you might run into the situation where something might be clipped or something like that, and you might not get that statement to carry with it, and so you leave yourself exposed there. I think that from clipped, separated, you know what I mean.
Okay.
No.
But if
Okay, so I think that the caption, all of that was in bold print in the documents that we've approved, is certainly available to be used as the MUD, for the MUD to go out and say, here's what the proposition looks like. This is its 40-year bond, that entire bold print thing. I think that without a doubt you can put that particular information out.
And Michelle, you're going to put that on the web page as far as a link on what the bond is actually for, correct? Okay.
What the proposition is.
Right. Everything that's in the there was a title to it.
What page is that, about 61, 62, something like that?
And what about the data? It's open record anyway since it was presented, but the data that Tony or Andrew, the charts.
Yeah, like where it talks about the order calling for the bond and the certainly the proposition itself.
I think that
Not an issue.
Yeah, I wouldn't view that as an issue at all.
Not an issue whatsoever.
On what?
On
The MUD publicizing, using the MUD funds to put forth basically the stuff that was on, that
you just
led
want
me in
to
that thing.
you want to make it's the order 2017-2015A. Anything in there that you can use MUD funds to inform the public as to what's happening. I was talking earlier about just being careful not to try to persuade the public to vote one way or the other.
So the data that Tony and Andrew presented as far as that chart, whatever, you wouldn't say put that in there? It's going to be in the minutes anyway.
Yeah, but you're going to run into a problem with interpretation.
You're talking about the handout?
Yeah.
I would just leave it the way, it's already going to be publicly disseminated.
Okay. That's fine. Everybody understand that? Okay.
Well, let me come back to what Bill was saying a second ago. I understand from the board, and I understand not spending MUD's funds, but back to this freedom of speech, I want to ask about that for a second. Every one of us sitting up here have friends and email distribution list. I have a fairly exhaustive one, a fairly large one. Am I allowed to provide the financial information I've developed, saying that it's coming from me as an individual, and here's my view based on the financial work that I've done as to how this thing stacks up? Am I allowed to do that?
What email server are you using to do that?
My AOL. Do not come through the
You
town.
can do that, yes.